Hi, good evening, everyone. Welcome to today's session of live counter review using technical analysis. So for today, the flow will be same as per usual. First, I'll go through the economic calendar. Then afterwards, I'll talk about some of the indices and commodities, followed by some of the sectors like the Max 7, US Bank, Semicons, as well as EVs. Then last but not least, I'll also go through any questions that you all have in the Q&A. Yeah, so if you all have any questions you want me to go through, feel free to drop them in the Q&A, but try to keep them to about three per person. So to give everyone a chance, and if time permits, then try to go through more as well. So without further ado, I'll begin. So first up, in terms of the calendar wise tonight, nothing much. Tomorrow there's some Fed uh it's- there's the Fed Wallace speaking 2:30 a.m. Bosch is speaking 4:15 a.m. A small business optimism that's coming out at 7 p.m. tomorrow. Then we have the ADP employment change weekly 9:15 p.m. Afterwards, followed by retail sales at 9:30 p.m. Okay, after retail sales, nothing much. Then Wednesday, there's let's see, the Fed Logan speaking 2 a.m. Then API crude oil stop, that's at 5:30 a.m. Wednesday night, there will be the non-farm payroll, so that's at 9:30 p.m. Okay, afterwards, Bowman speaking 11:15 p.m. Crude oil inventories 11:30 p.m. Then going into Thursday, there's Fed Logan at 8 a.m. Jobless claims at 9:30 p.m. And Friday, another important one will be the CPI, so that's at 9:30 p.m. Yeah, so that's it. Basically, for the week, the most important events I think will be Wednesday night. So that will be non-farm payrolls 9:30 p.m. and then also Friday night, which is CPI at 9:30 p.m. Yeah. So next one, I'll go through the indices and commodities. So first one, I'll talk about Bitcoin. So I think Bitcoin, continued the bearish trend last week, which was sell down towards like 60,000 about then, and then we saw a bit of rebound. I think currently it's doing a bit of a sideways over here, did a mean reversion back to the 5 SMA on Friday, and then it kind of just sideways over there. I think short term wise, we're likely to see some sort of a resistance. Currently, some sort of resistance around 72,000. So that's currently we see some upper wicks being formed over there for the past few days. That then the 10 SMA, the red line is also closing now as well. So we are likely to see some resistance at 72K. Higher end will be probably about 75, 76K, which was the breakdown level on Tuesday over here. So I think generally 72 to 75, that's probably about that's the resistance zone for now. In terms of support, I think some short-term support if you want to form a higher low would be around 67,000. So that will be like the Saturday lows, and then the lower end will be 60,000. If it continues to retest this swing low, probably we might hold over here and do a bit of sideways. So overall, still a weak trend, I think. Then we're likely to see some resistance from these short-term moving averages. Yeah, so that's for Bitcoin. Next one for Dow Jones. I think Dow Jones overall uptrend is still the strongest among the indices. So last week we saw the new all-time high on Friday, finally broke out above this 49.6K level and also hit above the 50K milestone. So overall Dow Jones, I think still likely to see the uptrend continue. So I think in terms of the short-term target wise, I think we could look at this range over here. So uh, in the start of this year, the lows was like 48.4, the resistance was like 49.6, so that's about 1.2K range. If you project it outwards, it was about 50.8. That could be the next target lah. In terms of the charts, so it's still looking very good. I think the next key, if it does retest this channel resistance over here, that's 50.8 around there, and 51, that's also the next psychological level as well. So that could be the next resistance area for Dow Jones. Then if there's any back test towards the 49.6, I think this area over here will likely hold as support, given that it has held as resistance for quite long. So 49.4 to 49.6 will be the immediate support for Dow Jones. So I think overall uptrend is still very much intact. So next one is we'll talk about Nasdaq. So Nasdaq the weakest of the three. So in terms of Nasdaq, I think generally last week the weakness has broke below this trend line support over here, and also in terms of the moving averages, I think also below this blue line, this 100 SMA level. So previously priced during the previous pullbacks in end November as well as this 20th of January, price managed to hold this 100 SMA hold. And another test of this on Tuesday, it managed to hold a bit, but Wednesday it broke through it and then close to a retest on Friday. So I think over here, that would be the short-term resistance around 23.1K. Okay, then the next resistance upwards will be 23.4. That's around the 50 SMA, this green moving average over here. If I pull out the short-term moving averages, currently the Nasdaq did a retest of the 5 SMA now after the sell down. So that's probably we might see some resistance over here. And afterwards, if you can overcome 23K, the next level over here, 23.4K, that will be the 5 and 2, 20 SMA levels. So that will be the next resistance level. So overall, Nasdaq, I think overall is still quite weak. And so this will be important to see whether this 23K area over here, the 100 SMA area, whether will be whether price can reclaim above it or will hold as resistance. If price meets resistance over there, I think we're likely to see another continued pullback for Nasdaq. Yeah, so in general, the next key support I think could be somewhere closer to about 22K. So that was like this November swing low 21.8, 21.9 level. And then we have the 200 SMA, this purple moving average catching up. That's probably could provide some support over there as well. Yeah, and overall, zooming out, there's also like a channel support lah. So there might be some support over there closer to about 22K. So still a bit weakness if it continues. If 23,000 holds as resistance, then we might see some continued weakness for Nasdaq. Next one for S&P. S&P I think is still okay. So overall, still trading in this. Last week the pullback towards this short-term upward channel support over here around 6,800 about there. Continue for support as well as the 100 SMA this blue line over here. So overall, yeah, I would say the uptrend is still intact, and currently for now we might see some sideways. I feel like we might see some continued sideways with some short-term resistance at this 6,945, and then 7,000 is also a resistance. Above that, probably around 7,030, which the upper Bollinger Bands are currently are. So I think the Bollinger Bands are also now quite flat. There's more, so we might see some sideways consolidation and support probably around 6870 as first level of support. Then if it goes below, if it breaks below that, then the next support level will be this horizontal level of about 6,800, where around the 100 SMA is around there as well. So overall for S&P, I think uptrend is still okay. So in terms of indices, I think strongest will be Dow Jones, then followed by S&P, and then Nasdaq is the weakest. So still remains about the same for that. Next one, looking at gold. Gold's sort of expected. We had a sort of this deep pullback and then a dead cat bounce over here, then price kind of remain sideways. So I think for this week we might still see some sort of this kind of pattern hold out over here. Yeah, so it might be something similar to, let's say, like this part over here when it's a pullback, and then afterwards if you have a rebound and continue to see a bit sideways, something similar to here as well. Yeah, so I think overall 5,100, this swing high from Wednesday last week, 5,091. So that area might still be first resistance level. Next one is around like 5,240, I feel. Then in terms of support, short-term movement averages might be a support if the price continue to form a higher low. So that's around 4,900 about there, where we have around the 5 SMA is the 20 SMA level. Then if you to 4,900 cannot hold, then we might see a retest of closer to about 4,700, which is this horizontal level. So overall for gold, I feel this week wise, we probably still see a bit of a sideways consolidation over here with some resistance above 5,100 and support, immediate support 4,900, then 4,700 if that cannot hold. Next one, I'll talk about WTI oil. So for WTI oil, I think overall is moving a bit sideways overall since hitting the 66 resistance level. So price has, in terms of last week, price pulled back towards the 10 SMA on Monday to hit about 62 and did a rebound, a bit of a low. We're seeing a bit of a lower highs currently, or possibly along the short-term downwards resistance line. Then in terms of support, overall has been still holding around the 10 SMA level, but starting to weaken a little bit. But I think overall is the support, the key support will still be around 61. This swing low or form on last Tuesday. So that will be the important support for the overall upward move to continue. So I feel that in the short term wise, probably some sideways consolidation still holds. Some resistance might come around 64 to 66 still. So probably still some sideways. Unless the price can do a firm breakout this downwards resistance line, then we might see continue upwards move for WTI. Above 56, the next key level I would say is around 69 to 70. So that's the next psychological level which was formed as resistance in July last year. Okay, and then next one is the VIX. So in terms of VIX, I think still relatively sideways, a bit heightened volatility. I think I managed to find this trend line having higher lows. So that might be the near-term support now. So 17 will probably be around the support level. In terms of resistance, I think still maintain around 21. So price is still finding some resistance around 21. So still rather sideways. But if we see, I think another close about 21, 22, then we might be prepared for more volatility ahead towards maybe 25, 26. So that's the next horizontal level as well as a potential this trend line over here. So that's in terms of the VIX, still sideways, but see whether do watch out if there's another close about 21 to 22. Next one for copper, I think still a bit rather sideways for now. Just a range. After the pullback last week, we tested this 6.1, then we had some resistance and then price pullback again. On new whole support, right, 5.7. So probably still a range between January 5.6, 5.7 to resistance mainly is around 6 to 6.2 upward. So still rather sideways for copper. So that's it for in terms of indices and commodities. I'll move on to in terms of the different sectors. First one I'll talk about is the big tech. So Mag 7. So first one I'll talk about is this Roundhill Magnificent 7 ETF. So MAGS, which tracks the Mag 7 counters. So last week was here. So last week, price broke below this 64.6 level, then went down to close to this 61.7. So previously, just adjust a little bit. So this 62 So this is the important support level, I feel, because I think this is a bit of a neckline over here, where previous pullbacks for the Mag 7 index have held support over here, and last week continued to hold as support. So this is a very important level to hold. If not, we might see like a potential head and shoulders for the Mag 7. So perhaps I'll just draw that out. So potential head and shoulders with 62 as a very important support to hold. If 62 gives way, then we might be looking at lower levels like 60, this previous level, as well as 50, 57.5. So for now, still holding. So in terms of the short-term levels, we might see some resistance, I think, for now, close to about 64.6, this horizontal level, which previously was a support. Then I think now could turn to be a resistance if price does a rebound towards this area. So that will be likely the resistance. So I think for this week wise, probably a bit of a sideways. If it continues to hold 62, we might see some movement between like 62 to this 65 area as this range over here for now. In terms of the weekly wise, I think some weakening as a price. This was last week was the first week price closed below the 20 SMA. So previously during this whole uptrend, price was maintaining the 10 SMA initially. Then afterwards, it tested some of the 20 SMA but still hold. Then last week was like a break below that. So I think this area 65 that will become the resistance also. So some weakness for Max 7, but no confirmation of a further sell down yet. Yeah, so just probably some sideways movement at a lower range. Okay, I'll move on to some of the individual counters. So first one on Meta. So in terms of Meta, I think some weakness last week where price filled the gap over here on Wednesday, then at around 670 about that, then some indecision, and yeah, just kind of currently slightly under the gap and under this 670 level. So I think it's holding at the 20 SMA. Short term wise, we might see some resistance from the 5 to 10 SMA levels. That's around 679 to 686. Coinciding with close to a horizontal level at 690 as well. So short-term wise, a rebound would maybe see some resistance over here. That's around 680 to 690. In terms of the next support, if it goes below Friday lows, the next horizontal support, I think that will be around 638. So previously there was some horizontal support around that level. Yeah. And then below 638, the next one will be around 600. Yeah, this swing low. So for now, I feel that for Meta, I think yeah, it's important to hold around here. On the weekly chart is this 660 area is where the 5, 10, 20 SMA is currently meet. And it's also a retest of this horizontal breakout level. So in terms of the breakout this after the earnings. So this area at the 20 SMA is important to hold for price to possibly do a bit of a rebound. But if this gives way, then we might see some further weakness towards 638 and below. So yeah, so that's for Meta. Next one for Apple, which was a strong last week despite the tech weakness. So from yeah, so this for Apple. Yeah, for Apple last week I think was pretty strong, managed to break out of this 262 resistance over here, and then it cleared several levels along the way, like this 267, as well as and it hit last week it hit about 275 this area, 275 to 280 this area, and then started to move a bit sideways. So I think overall Apple might still be strong in the short term, as it's currently trading above the 5 SMA, this blue line. So that will be probably the short term support at 273 about there. And yeah, so we might still see some sort of a sideways if 280 holds as resistance, maybe 273 to 280. But if 280 breaks, then we might see a retest of 288 again, like this previous high. Yeah, so overall, I think still pretty strong for Apple currently. As long as the 5 SMA continue to hold as support, it might outperform some of the other tech names for the time being. Next one, Amazon. After the results, it was a gap down. So overall, yeah, so in terms of how it did after the results, gap down at 202, then actually we tested this 211 horizontal support levels and close near the day highs. So for now, I would think that some resistance might come along this area where 211 to about this swing low 217. And that might be the short-term resistance, I feel. Yeah, while waiting for some of the moving averages to come down. Yeah. So overall, yeah. So that might be the short-term resistance 211 to 217. In terms of support, I think maybe we might see support if it does fill out this gap. So previously there was a gap that's over here. This is at 194. So there might be support 194 to 198, this area. So if price comes to retest this area again, we might see some support. So in the short term wise, I think might be a bit still a bit choppy lah. Maybe a bit sideways kind of, yeah, with resistance uh slightly at around 217 and strong support at 194. Okay, next one is Netflix. So for Netflix, I feel that overall still just kind of it's still a bit weakness, moving a bit sideways. So I think still holding this longer term trend line over here, just moving a bit sideways around there. Price is below last week. Price broke down this 82.30 level, so a bit of a weakness. Yeah, in terms of the weekly chart, it's also trading below the 5 SMA continuously. So for now, still a bit weakness unless we can see, okay, on the daily also, um, the 10 SMA is the key resistance. This red line has been holding as the very strong resistance. So price need to rebound, it needs to clear this around $83, which is around the Thursday highs. So and then the next resistance probably around 85, which is this swing high, as well as this trend line over here. So our price rebound really need to see 83 and 85 being cleared afterwards. So for now, I would still think maybe a bit of a sideways might still continue for now, with strong resistance at 85, 83 to 85. Yeah, then if it breaks below the last week lows, then I think then you might be clear that the downtrend could continue. So that's if it breaks below 79 over here. The next support level might be around that's around 70, maybe around 76 more there for Netflix. Next one for Alphabet. So Alphabet after results, I think in terms of the chart, there's some weakness lah. So first I'll go on to the weekly chart. So in terms of the weekly chart, the key is to maintain this 10 SMA in the weekly, which is currently around 351. So during the uptrend, price has been maintained above there. So price this week, I think it's important to see whether price can hold this level. If not, we might see some further pullback. In terms of the daily, I think there's potential breakdown of this uptrend blue channel over here after the earnings. So price open around this level, horizontal level 314, found a support to move upwards. But I think in the short term wise, over here we might see quite a bit of resistance where the SMAs currently are. So that's around 330 to 335 area, which is also this horizontal level breakdown after the results. So we might be doing a retest and finding resistance over here. So in the short term wise, if 335 is resistance, we might see price come down back towards the 314 level. Yeah, so in this week wise, we might see some sideways movement. Yeah. So possibly in terms of the strong uptrend, might be starting to see some weakness and moving sideways perhaps for Alphabet. Yeah, below 314 for the next strong support, we think is around close to 296 this swing low, 292 to 296 this area. And last one is Microsoft. In terms of Microsoft, last week continued the weakness downward, still below the 5 SME. So after breaking below this 422 level, price continued to weakness downwards. Currently, I think filled out this gap over here. So this was the gap at 393 previously formed in April last year. So filled out this gap. In terms of the longer term trend, I think it's near the channel support over here as well. So over here, we might see some slight rebound over here from the support after filling out this gap. And resistance might be around 409, which is around the 5 SMA as this breakdown level. Then above that is 422. That will be the retest of this level. And perhaps when 10 SMA comes down. So for Microsoft, we might see some short rebound over here after hitting this support level. But overall, still, I think there will still be some weakness with some resistance from the recent breakdown levels. So that's in terms of the Max 7. I think overall, still, most of them showing some signs of weakness. In terms of the index, yeah, last week also put back towards the key support must hold for the Max 7 ETF at 62. If not, I think we might see some further weakness. Yeah, but for this week, uh, we might if this holds, then probably some slight rebound and sideways afterwards. Next sector I'll talk about is the financials. So I'll move on to the XLF, this Spider financial sector ETF. So for the finance sector, I think last week was pretty much resilient. So was continuing a bit of a sideways um, for the for this ETF. Yeah, so it's moving. Last week was moving sideways. I think for this week might still see some resistance from 54.3 onwards to about 55, which was this breakdown level that is currently trying to retest over here. But I think support will hold at this last week's range between like 53.4 to about 54 around there. So possibly still sideways with some resistance still acting coming from. Yeah. Now move on to talk about some of the banks. So first one looking at JP Morgan in terms of the charts. Yeah, so for JP Morgan, I think you can see some strength is starting to come back in after hitting this channel support. So last week was a retest of this high 317, then some pullback, holding at the 10 SMA, and then afterwards price open gap up over here on Friday at the 5 SMA and move up. So it's back to this next resistance area, which is like 320 to 3 329. So that will be the short-term resistance I feel, which is like around this close to this channel retest over here. So short-term wise, I think that will be the resistance area. Then support may come from this like 317 about there. Okay, next one is Bank of America. So Bank of America also regain some, I think regain some strength with a retest of this resistance like 55 over here. Then after that it's a pullback and continue show some strength on Friday by making a higher high. So I think we might see a retest of this 57.50 this swing high over here. Yeah, so after clearing this 55 resistance, price might do a retest of this previous high. Next one for Wells Fargo, I think for Wells Fargo also rebounding to retest this breakdown level that's at 93.50 about there. Yeah, so I think overall still okay. First retest price finding some support at 5 SMA level and then do another test on Friday. So you can maintain above this 93.50, we might see a price trying to test the previous swing high over here again. That's around 97.30 about there. So last one is Citigroup, also showing some strength after price managed to break out of this 116 key level. So was this holding as a bit of resistance, and price managed to break outwards to test this 123. So maybe yeah, will face some slight resistance over here, but I think it's still possible to form a higher high. Yeah, given the some consolidation over here and the strength of this candlestick. So Citigroup, I think it still looks pretty good. Yeah, so in terms of the banks, I think we are seeing some recovery in terms of the price action, and then yeah, they could be looking to test some of the previous swing highs again. Yeah, if they continue to hold the higher lows. Okay, next I'll talk about is semicons. So first I'll take a look at the Philadelphia Semicon Index stocks. Yeah, so for this last week, was generally pullback, and then I think it sort of did a test of this previous breakout level. Yeah, that was close to the 50 SMA as well. So this was previous resistance. I think this is holding as support. And then Friday, yeah, managed to close back up about 7,900, this horizontal level. So I think key is to see whether 7,900 here holds, can continue to hold as support. If here holds, then we might be seeing an overall, we might be seeing another test of the resistance close to 8,300 and 8,400. On the weekly, I think it's still looking okay. The pullback brought it to the 10 SMA on the weekly and continue to find support. So overall, I would say the uptrend for the semiconductor index is still holding despite the pullback last week. Yeah. And if 7,900 holds, then we might see a retest of the highs again. Okay, next one going to some of the individual semicon names. Okay, first one is NVIDIA. So let's take a look at NVIDIA last week. I think there was a price went down all the way to as this support area, which is this swing low, which is like 169 to 175 around here. Yeah, this trendline support. So price been tested this and strong rebound on Friday to back to test this the old level 184, 185. So over here in the short term wise, I feel there might be some resistance over here because price was actually this is an important level where price traded a lot of times price traded around this area. So was holding as support, then last week breakdown, and then now currently retest. We might see some slight resistance around 185, this level for the time being. Yeah, in terms of supports, I think short-term support might come around closer to 179, 180, this if there's a pullback towards there. Then overall, I think still pretty much range bound. Still no direction. Where 192 is a very strong resistance and price is still not breaking below 170 as well. So overall, still quite range bound. Yeah, for NVIDIA, I think nothing much has changed. Next one for AMD, I think AMD after the earnings, there was this gap down over here. So price actually tested this swing low at 194 about there. And then did a bit of rebound on Friday. So overall, I would say still some weakness, but overall, still not the worst yet. As price is still holding this 194 as well as this short-term trend line support. I think on Friday's close. But I think one thing in terms of when I look at the chart is that currently it's below this 100 to this 50 to 100 SMA. I think if there's another rebound, this will likely be the resistance area. So we see that it's at 218 to 221. So I think that is quite confluent with this around this 224 area as well, this horizontal level. So if price does a rebound to this level, I think there will be some short-term resistance I feel over here when with the short-term moving averages coming down as well. So for now, I would say if it goes towards what we are close to 220, there might be some resistance. Then I think support will still probably be around like the last week's lows, like 190 to about 196. This area I think will still be probably some support if it holds. Yeah, then below that is at 187 as well, this previous high. So maybe a bit range bound. Next one, I'll move on to TSM. Yeah, for TSM, I feel that still relatively quite strong. It's just moving kind of sideways over here. Price did a retest of the 327 level, and then there was a recovery back upwards. So overall, still looks like sort of a bullish flag. On the weekly basis, also still holding 10 SME as well. Yeah, so that's still strong, and I think if price can maintain, let's say like 343 over here, then I think there might be some strength to go upwards for TSM to make higher highs. Overall, still uptrend and looks like a sideways consolidation. Next one for ASML. Okay, I think some slight pullback, but overall it's still holding this support around 1,350 around here, 20 SMA as well. So pull back to do a retest and then bounce over here. So I think it's still okay. Probably maybe we see some short-term sideways consolidation after the pullback from highs. So short-term resistance might be like 1,000 1,420 to about 1,500 area. So maybe see some sideways movement. In terms of the weekly, still maintaining at the 5 SMA weekly, so that's still very strong. Unless the breaks below that, then we might see a further pullback. But for now, maybe still still looking good lah. As long as it doesn't break below last week's lows, where the next support is like 1,280 about. Next one for Marvel, yeah, tested this swing low support around 74, and then we have already seen a rebound. I would expect resistance over here. 80, this at the retest of this support breakdown, 81. That's first level of resistance. Next level 85, which was this level. So I think still weak. Overall, looks like a still below this trendline support, and yeah, just looks like a rebound retest of this swing low. Next one, Micron. Yeah, so Micron, I think in terms of the trend, some slight weakening in terms of the very short-term trend last week because the price broke down below this 407 horizontal level. So there was we can see in terms of the price action over here, price sort of is some pullback over here, rebound, then another pullback, price broke below this horizontal level and below this 10 SMA as well, which price was trailing along during this strong movement. So some slight weakness over here for now. And we can see price towards like close to 370, then doing some rebound. I would think the strong support now, if it goes towards close to 346, that will be quite a strong support, which was previously this consolidation level over here. In the shorter wise, we might see some consolidation. Some resistance will be at 407, this level, if it does a retest, where the 5 and 10 SMEs currently are as well. But in terms of the longer term trend, definitely still a strong trend and still above the 5 SMA level. Yeah, then if there's if it happens to have a deeper pullback, I think 10 SMA, there will be a strong support. If it, which was previously seen over here in 17 November this week. Yeah, and also 15 December. So still a very strong uptrend, just some slight pullback on the highs for Micron. Next one is Broadcom. So I think last week managed to fill up this gap over here at 306, 307, and then we saw a rebound where price rebounded above this 323 lah. So I think for now we might see some so I think some resistance might still hold around 338. This area over here, so this swing high, it might be some sideways movement. I feel support might be around like this 318, 319 level area. Yeah, in terms of the weekly chart, I think there's still weakness as overall its price is still trading below the 5 SMA, currently 336. Then above that we have 10 SMA and 20 SMA, both around 346, 348. Yeah, so still some weakness, just looks like a bit of a rebound after filling the gap. And I think some resistance will still likely to hold from these horizontal levels as well as the weekly SMAs. Last one I'll talk about for the semicons is Intel. So I think for Intel last week was pretty much sideways. So after the rebound from the retest of this 44 level, we see a bounce and then price holding sideways. Support is generally around 46, 47, and then some resistance is around 40, 49, 50. Yeah, but I think still holding overall okay for that. If price can, if price can continue to hold 49, there could be a chance to test this swing high 54. Let's see if it breaks above 51 thing over here. Yeah, so as long as could be a chance of testing 54 for like to retest this swing high if price continue to hold 49. Yeah, I think overall short term wise might still probably be quite sideways. Yeah, so that's it for the general for the semicons. Yeah, still quite mixed performance. Yeah, some of the strong the leaders have seen a bit of a slight pullback, but I think overall it's still um yeah, the uptrend is still fine. Yeah. Then some of the weaker ones I think still showing they'll be a rebound after going some lower lows, but I think overall will still for the weak ones I think overall could still remain weak lah. Then last I'll talk about is EVs. So first one I talk about is Tesla. So Tesla last week, I think almost touched this 383 swing low, hit about 387, then it did a bit of rebound. But I think for now it's still weak as overall in terms of long-term trend, price is still below this blue upward support line. So that's for the longer term trend. In the short term wise, also after multiple tests of 417, price also did a breakdown. So I think that will be the immediate resistance where currently around 10 SMAs currently is. Yeah. Then in terms of the next resistance area, I think will be around like 428 as well as 440. Yeah, so that's around the 20 SMA level. Yeah, so Tesla, I think probably some rebound, but I think once it retests these support breakdown levels as well as these SMAs, I think that will still pose as a resistance. On the weekly chart, we can see that previously was holding the 20 SMA as a support during this whole up wave, but now we're seeing a breakdown. So I think if it does retest, this will become the resistance. And yeah, it's also trading below all the SMEs on the week. Yeah, so that's for Tesla. Next one, Xpeng. Yeah, for Xpeng, I think last week hit the next support level, this swing low 16.4, and then currently some rebound at this level. Might be some resistance over here at 18, which was this support level previously. Yeah, then support now could be at maybe 17 over here. And the next reason upwards is like 18.6. Okay, then next one, Neo. Yeah, for Neo, I think overall still pretty weak, but some slight signs of improvement where last week was tapped, it hit 4.44, and then there was a gap up on Friday above this 4.86 level. So if you can hold this 4.86, then we might see a higher range being formed, right? To test maybe 5.3 as a short-term resistance for Neo. Okay, then last one I'll talk about the EVs is Rivian. Yeah, so for Rivian, I think overall still weakness. Price is hit this swing low like around 14, and I think we could see some slight rebound, but resistance will probably come around 15.7 to 16 over here. Yeah. Okay, so that's it for the different sectors. I'll move on to the counters that you all have. Okay, hi BY, your counters are T, ARM as well as Palantir. Okay, let me take a look. First one, AT&T. Yeah, for AT&T, I think it's a very strong momentum after the earnings over here. And like towards the end of the week, starting to sideways a little bit. So for now, I think yeah, so it's still holding the 5 SMA, but yeah, now it's 26.9 will be the important short-term level to watch support to keep up the momentum. If there's a break below that, then we might see some slight pullback start to happen with some supports like 26.6 and around maybe 26.3 over here. So short term wise, I think strong run up. Maybe some short term reasons, maybe at 27.6. If it does retest this horizontal breakdown over here. Yeah, I think overall probably most. I feel that it might do a sideways consolidation. Yeah, overall. And the next one is um yeah. So for I think after earnings it was tested this support level 102, managed to close strong above this SMEs, as well as the next day managed to continue upwards to test this resistance at this swing highs at 122, 123. So overall, I think looks like still a bit of a range. Looks like it's happening with the general uh, support at uh, the general support still holding 102, resistance maybe 122, 123. Above that, there's 126, 127. Yeah, so I think probably if it has 127 again, might be still be a resistance. Could do a bit of sideways trading, I feel, for ARM in the short term. Next one for Palantir. I think Palantir actually after results, I think in terms of price action is quite weak. I think it has broke below some of the key some key levels. So before okay, this was before the earnings. So price tested this 149, this support level over here. And then afterwards, after the earnings, I think uh gap up over here towards like this 160 165, 162 to 168 was like the resistance area. And afterwards, a very strong pullback where price broke below the. It opened above the 10 SMA, but afterwards you can see the strong selling momentum, high volume, brought it below the all the short term moving wedges and also below this 149 level. So I feel that this might be like a potential head and shoulders break over here. So yeah, this is like a left shoulder that hit as well as a right shoulder over here. So this is the neckline. I feel that this 149 might turn to resistance if it does a retest. For now, I think price tested on Friday tested this area of support, like 130 next support level. Currently is around 135, 136. So I think in the short term wise, once it tests the short term SMAs over here, there will probably be some resistance like 142 perhaps, and then 149. Yeah, 149 I think will be the strong resistance if it does a retest for Palantir. Yeah, so I think that's for Palantir. That's on the short term resistance. If it breaks below the last week's lows, then the next key support I think will be somewhere around 120. This level over here. Okay, I see you have some Singapore questions as well. Sorry, I'm able to go through during the morning session, but I'll try to cover if there's time permits later on. Next question I'll go through is MSI SLV ETHV. So first one, MSI Motorola Solutions, I think it's still gradually trending upwards. Yeah, some after this sideways consolidation price overall, I think the key is still maintaining the 10 SME level, which it has did, and also managed to break out of this higher high like 410. So it's now moving towards the next area around feel is around this potentially do a gap fill over here that's around 428. So that might be the next short term resistance. Above 428, that's 436. Yeah, so for now, I think we're still a gradual trend upwards along the 10 SMA. Then in the short term wise, support will probably be around from the 5 SMA field. That's around 413 perhaps. Yeah. Okay, next question, SLV, which is the iShares Silver Trust. So for the iShares Silver Trust, I think Yeah, currently price did like a retest of the swing low over here, 60, which was like around 68. I think short term wise, we might see some resistance from the 5 SMA, which is around 73 as a first level of resistance. Then next one maybe at 76 if it doesn't get filled, and then upwards is 81 about there. So short term wise, I think maybe most probably some sideways movement, I feel, after this retest of the swing low. Yeah. In terms of the weekly, also retested the 10 SMA weekly. So in this holds, you might see some perhaps probably just some rebound and then sideways movement. Next one, ETHB is the VanEck Ethereum ETF. Yeah, for this ETF, I think last week it did like a gap fill over here to retest this like 27 level about there, and then currently doing some rebound. But yeah, I think some resistance might be from the this 31 level over here, the 5 SMA. Above that is like 30, I think 32 to 32 then 35. So probably still some weakness in the short term. If it does retest, if you I think we'll probably do some rebound, but um probably facing resistance from a retest of this H5 as well as 10 SMA levels. Yeah, okay. Then next one is IBIT, PayPal and Novo Nordisk. Okay, first one IBIT. Okay, IBIT is similar to the Ethereum ETFs. So for IBIT, last week it broke below this 43, I think 43 swing low and tested 37. So I think for now, some resistance might come around 40, 41, this area, which is around the 5 SMA. Yeah. Then if you can overcome the next one, probably around 43 now, which was the previous swing low, that will be the next resistance. And around 10 SMA. So short-term wise, I think maybe some rebounds or sideways, but overall still a very big trend now. So might be something what we are seeing like in end November, where after the sell down we saw some rebound sideways, but overall the whole trend is still weak. Okay, next one, PayPal. Yeah, PayPal I think is after the earnings is like a direct gap down lower lows. So for now, I think for now looks like some support around 39 about there. In terms of resistance, I think probably we'll find some resistance one the five around the 5 SMA. That's probably around 42, $43. And the around the highs of this this gap down candle over here. So maybe some sideways movement, I feel. After this big gap down. Okay, next one, Novo Nordisk. Okay, for Novo Nordisk, I think very short for last week also. Then back to test this horizontal support at 44. Currently some rebound over here. Yeah, but I think short term wise, there might be some resistance over here 50. This is a horizontal level previously. And might close out this gap over here as well. So there might be some short resistance over here. Afterwards, like for 53.70, that would be the next resistance. So overall, I think it's doing a bit of a rebound after hitting this support after the sharp fall. I think there's also some news also. But I think in terms of the rebound, these are the two resistance levels that I think will cap the upside for the short term. Afterwards, it might do some pullback and then sideways. movement after. Okay, then there's a question. What's my view on the three recent sharp moves for GLD, SLB, and Bitcoin? So first one, GLD, which is these gold shares. I think overall I think overall I still maintain uptrend outlook. It hasn't changed, just that there was a very sharp rally and then some profit taking as well as very sharp mean reversion. Afterwards, looks like I think in general the key is to see whether the 50 and 100 SMA needs to hold for the longer term uptrend to hold. So yeah, you can see that during pullbacks, this has generally held as support, which is still holding above despite the recent pullback. I think it's still uptrend. Trend is still uptrend. Short term movement probably some probably some sideways movement after this drop and then rebound. And for SLV, I think it's a bit weaker than gold, but I think still upwards movement as long as can hold this 68 level, which we tested last week, which is the swing low and 50 SMA. So if this can hold, I think overall uptrend is still intact. Also probably some short-term movements after this drop, and then we probably see some rebound and sideways. But for the DeFi is definitely downtrend. Yeah, in terms of the price action, definitely you see because it's below the long-term moving averages, and also we see bearish continuation recently after breakdown of this bearish trend. In terms of price action, it kind of reminds me of what we saw in 2022. So this was this was back in 2022 during the bear market. Breakdown of the bear flag. This was what happened recently, and then price continued to trend lower continue the downtrend. So recently broke down this bear flag. So we might be seeing something similar to maybe some drop and then sideways movement afterwards. Yeah, but definitely still in the downtrend for Bitcoin for now. Okay, next one I see some counters Xinxiong, Oracle, Grab. Yeah, I'll go talk about the first three. Yeah, so for Xinxiong, I think overall it's still a strong uptrend. But I think it rose quite fast after the breakout of 277 over here. So I think short term wise it's still strong. Price is the today increased volume, higher high above this 292 level, so that's still good. Hit 297, some pullback. So I think short term wise maybe some could be some consolidation first, but overall still uptrend intact. Support might come from this 292 level or the 5 SMA when it catches up. So I think Xinxiong is still a very strong counter. Yeah, for next one, Oracle, I think it's still quite price broke down by this downwards channel over here. So it hit about 136, some slight rebound. 136 was this last year's April resistance level. So some slight rebound over there. I think it will still be a weak trend and resistance likely to be found from 148 and perhaps 157, maybe around this SMEs level. Next support below that, probably below 136. I think if it breaks below that, probably around 123. Yeah, based on the previous levels over here. Next one on Grab. Yeah, Grab overall I think is still weak, but it has managed to hit $4 around there. Close to $4, which is like a previous strong horizontal level. Currently still looks like it's trading within this downwards channel over here. So I think it's still weak. Any rebound in the short term, I think will be faced with some resistance at probably 438 to 450 area, which was also the breakdown level recently. Yeah. So might move into bit. But I think $4 probably will hold for now. Also probably maybe some sideways kind of movement, I feel. Okay, hi Avi, your counter questions are Fruit and Now. This one is Flutter Entertainment. Yeah, so for this, still in the downtrend right now. Yeah, so I think in terms of the resistance is coming from the 5 SMA, 154 currently. Above that is 160. Yeah, so and then also yeah, tap into this support level at last week 150. So maybe it could do a bit of rebound if this holds. But I think some resistance will still largely be around 160, yeah, for this flutter and dip. Then below 150, we continue to lower lows. The next strong support, stronger support probably around 134, 135. Yeah, for service now last week, uh, also continue to find resistance from the 5 SMA. I think for this week, some resistance at the start, probably around 106. Yeah, so I think we might still continue to go lower to maybe test some of the previous levels. I feel let me see. Next one is like 93.50. Yeah, so for service now. Okay, next question is on RTX, Carrier and GE Health. For RTX overall, yeah, still in the uptrend. Uh, recently a bit sideways. So I feel that yeah, currently some holding on 20 SMA, which is 197 around here. So also along this upward support line. So it looks like a bit of a sideways movement. As long as 194 doesn't break down, I think should be still okay in the short term. If 194 breaks, then we might see a low, further pullback towards 186 around there. Yeah, for now, I feel that it might do some sideways consolidation first. After this quite a strong candlestick with high volume over here. And next one is Carrier Global. So for Carrier Global, I think this this rebound is still ongoing, I feel. Yeah, still trailing along the 5 SME, also still holding above 60 this level. Recently testing this 64 previous breakdown level. So maybe some resistance over here, but tested 2 days in a row. If you can overcome this, I think might still continue a rebound higher to test The next level is 60, 67, around 67 over here. That's the next potential resistance for carrier. Yeah, next one for GE Healthcare. Okay. For GE Healthcare, I think there could be still some weakness because after the false breakout over here, 86, I think still some bearish signs recently. Okay, break down over here, 82, and then the test of this 82 to 84 over here is facing some resistance. So yeah, over here still holding a bit of range, but I would say, and this was also on high volume as well. So afterwards, not a pullback. If it breaks below, let's say 80 and 78 is a confirmation. So it breaks below that, we might see some continued down pullback for GE Healthcare, I feel. Yeah, 78 is the total level, the weekly 20 SMA as well. So for now, I feel it's a bit ranging, but still resistance from previous supports now. Okay, hi Sharon, good evening. Your question is on two support resistance for A-Lab, Palantir, and MST. Okay, first one, Astera Labs. Astera, in terms of support, I think first one, 151 over here. Then next one is around this, uh, uh, probably around this 138, this swing low. So in terms of resistance, I feel that uh, some resistance will be probably first level 182, close to 182. Then next one is around 199. So for now, it looks like a still kind of range bound here. And next one, Palantir. In terms of support, next support, if there's a lower low, then next support probably around 120. Then below that is 107, this next swing low. In terms of resistance, I feel that short term wise, 142 might be a bit of resistance, then followed by 149 for Palantir. Then for MSTR strategy, yeah, in terms of strategy, first resistance level probably around 142, and then next one 150 or 155 around there, which was the previous support now. And in terms of support, as long as support maybe around 120 to 124, this area, first support area. Next one, probably the last week's swing low, close to 104. Yeah, 102 to 104, around there. Okay, next one, there's Salesforce. Okay, for Salesforce, I think still a very weak. Yeah, last week, after the breakdown of the 220 levels, yeah, some support holding 188 previous level. So I think overall now still feeling some resistance from the 5 SMA, which is currently at 197 now. So that might be the short-term resistance. Above that, probably around 206, around there. So 180, if 180 breaks, if 188 can't hold, we might continue to see the next lower low at 176. That's the next support, sorry. Next one for Moderna, I think it's moving a bit sideways, I feel. So price is pulling back. Yeah, some weakness below the 42.20 SMA level. So yeah, we might still see some pullback generally as price is trending below the 5 SMA, and we have the 10 and 20 SMA above that as well. So next key support, I think it's around this 39.30 level over here, which uh, uh, and the weekly, I think the next key support is the 10 SMA. Like if it does a retest, I think that will provide some support. The overall, it still looks like some pullback happening since the peak, the swing high at 55. Next one is on holding. Okay, for on holding, okay, I think yeah, after this downtrend, price did a rebound. Then recently some weakness where we see that the breakdown of this range at 46 support and the resistance. Then the next one was also another breakdown over here recently, last week at 44 lah. So you might see some I think this will still 44 in the short term over here, this area will probably return to be a resistance. And next support is like 41 around here that you could test. So still pulling back from the 49 level over here. Okay, then next one, I see some question on the Singapore market. So there's a question on capital investment support and resistance. Yeah, for CLI, I think overall still a strong trend as price is still holding along this 10 SMA now. And then also managed to break out this I would say bullish flat consolidation 305 to 311. So I would think next resistance level maybe around 320 in the short term, and somewhere along the upper Bollinger Band as well. So I think that will be the short term resistance. Yeah, in terms of support in the short term, that will be 311 as well as the 5 and 10 SMEs currently at as well. Okay. Then I see some other question on DBS capital city development. Yeah, so first I'll talk about DBS. Yeah, for DBS, I think overall today, some weakness where this 5880 level, this horizontal level, is I think holding as a bit of resistance on for today. So I think we might see some in the short term, we possibly could see some pullback, some slight pullback, maybe close to the 5740 level as for support, whereas closer to the 50 SME where price has been holding some support slightly above it, and also there's this trend line for support as well, and this horizontal support. So maybe turning uptrend is still there, but I think maybe some sideways movement for now. Yeah. So you could retest some of this support level first with some weakness, with some resistance above 5880. For Capital, I think is still very strong uptrend. So I think it's around my uptrend channel resistance area over here. So if this holds resistance, we might see some. I think we might see some sideways consolidation start to take place. Yeah, but overall momentum is still very strong. Close near the day highs today. So I think it's still entirely possible for the trend to continue upwards here. But I think support wise, probably from the 5 S&P in the short term. Okay, I'll talk about one more since about close to 9:15. City development. Yeah, for city development, I think it's also a strong uptrend. Looks like it's trading within this uptrend channel itself currently and price has been holding support along the 5 and 210 SMA areas. So short term wise, I think could still continue to go higher. I feel. If it can break above this channel level. Yeah. So support wise, I think will be probably around this last week's levels like 9 around 950, 945 to 958 around there. Yeah, so I think I will stop for today. It's about 9:15. So yeah, I still see quite a bit of questions. So sorry I'm unable to uh take all of them in view of time, but thanks for appreciate for all the questions that you all have. Yeah, let me just take a moment. I'll just share some information in the chat. Okay. Yeah, so yeah, in the chat I left this survey form. So if you have any feedback about today's session, you can feel free to fill up the survey through the link. If you like today's session, I'll appreciate you drop a feedback or like as well in the form. Also, if you haven't joined or if you're new here today, feel free to join our industry community on TA through this link over there. So if you have any questions about TA, you can also um, ask over there as well. And this is also the Telegram handle. I've dropped it in the chat as well at Poems TA. So that's the Telegram link to join the Poems TA Telegram group, where I'll post some content over there as well. Yeah, so that's all for today. Uh thanks for attending today's session, and yeah, sorry I'm unable to take all the questions. And yeah, I see there's a question, there's no seminar next week now because it's CNY. Yeah, so I hope to see you again in the next session. And I wish all of you a very happy CNY. Stay healthy, and I hope you have more prosperity ahead. And hope to see you again in the next session. Thank you, everyone. And yeah, bye bye.